Okay, in this video we will talk about how we can work with saved searches, like creating, deleting or updating saved searches and alerts using Python SDK. Now previously we have seen how to install SDK and we get a brief idea about how what is the different class structures of SDK, right? And also I think we have seen one example as well, like how to update multiple alerts using the Python SDK. Now in this video we will try to see the end-to-end, like creating the saved searches, even alerts as well, and then how to update them and all those stuff. Now we will follow a step-by-step approach, what needs to be done, and we will try to reason through it, like why we are doing it as well. Now to start with, what first thing we need to do it over here is, okay, what we'll do is you can take any Python interpreter over here or any Python IDE over here and to work with this one. Okay, the current Python version I am using it 3.9. okay, now you can, and this the code we are trying to see it over here and we'll be developing over here, we'll be working thoroughly in any version of the Python 3, and I think this hopefully will work for Python 2 as well, but try to use Python 3 as well, because anyway we are moving from Python 2 to Python 3 as well. Even the Splunk recent version, if you see it, we are moving to Python 2 to Python 3 as well over there. Okay, now as I told, we will first try to see what steps we need to follow over here. The first thing we need to do it over here is we need to log into Splunk, right? Because when we create an alert or save searches, what we do, we log into Splunk, then go to this particular UI, right? So if I just compare with what we do it from the UI, it will make more sense, right? We log in over here in our Splunk enterprise, then we'll go to settings, this searches reports page, search reports and alerts page, then we create a new report or alert, right? Or we run a search and from there also we can create an alert over there. So anyway, we have to log into Splunk first, right? So the authentication needs to be there. So first let us try to write the code for logging into Splunk. Okay, so we will try to develop separate method for this one, and all of these methods will be called by our main method. Okay, so that's why we will just write something like if underscore name double equals to underscore main underscore normal Python stuff over here. Okay, then we will call a method called main, which will be basically calling every other method to see it. Okay, just to make this code modular as I'm just doing it. Okay, so now in the main method, what we'll be doing it over here is main. So it currently don't take any argument, so we will try to make our code within a try catch block. So currently I'm just writing a pass just to create the skeleton over here, then we will fill it up accordingly. Okay, so except exception as E over here. Okay, then we will just print the E over here, just a very simple block, so that if any exception is occurring while running those programs, it will just print that particular exception over here. Now as I told, the first thing we will be doing it over here is to logging into Splunk over here, right? So let us develop a method over here just to connect to the Splunk. So let's say we will be writing a method called dev connect to Splunk. Now we will try to see what inputs it will take. Okay, first let us create the same skeleton. We will be maintaining the same skeleton everywhere in our programs over here. Okay, now how we can connect to Splunk? So if we just see the documentation, we have to basically use the splunkLib.client.connect method to connect with the Splunk instance. If you see the documentation over here, the function connects and logs into the Splunk instance over here, right? Now if you see, this connect method is taking a lot of arguments over here, like the host, port, and the app context, the sharing. Like if you create a object over here, So what will be the sharing level, whether it be global or app level or user level, those stuff. Then token, cookies, and username and password, right? Now among them, if you see, like most of them have their default values. The only thing you need to provide is either a token based authentication or the username and password based authentication over here. Okay, now we have seen before in our custom alert action, I think, how to do this token based authentication over here. Okay, now let us see in this video how we can do this username and password based authentication over here. So if we just see the example over here, we need to basically import this Splunk lib.client. So let us do that one in our code first. Okay, and to create basically an object, or to basically connect to Splunk, so this connect function is actually return a service object, which we will see it later. Okay, first let us try to see how we can write this particular method. And as you have seen it over here, this connect method, the basic thing is needed is the username and password. So let us try to create that. So in the connect Splunk, so our input will be username and password. Okay, now you may want to create your safe search or alert for a specific app and for a specific user as well, and you may want to first initially create your alert at the app level, or you want to make it as private. So those thing is there as well, right? So that's why it is always good practice, we will take these inputs as well, even though they have some default value, but we will give the end user an option so that they can pass this value as well over here. Okay, including the host and port as well, we will give that one. So let's build that one. So we will have our host, the default value, as in the documentation we will keep localhost only, and we will have our input called port over here. Similarly, the default value, it will be always taking 8089 until unless you are providing some separate port. Then we have the owner over here, right? If I just go back to the documentation, it's the owner context, right? So let us take this input as well over here, and owner, and now by default we will take the owner as admin. So you can go by any owner over here. Then let us take the app context over here, and by default the app context will be search. Okay, now you can give any of the app name over here, like just like our TMDB app over here. Okay, and sharing, let's say we will take the default one is the user, I think, over here. The sharing one, default one, is the user. That means the alert or safe search you will be creating over here, by default it will be private, but you can always make it as app level as well. We will see that one. So let's make it as user only by default. Okay, so these are all our inputs over here. Then how we will be connecting to the Splunk, just like using this particular method, right? That means client.connect. So that is what we will be doing it over here. So we'll say, let's say, as it is returning a service object. Okay, so we will say service, you can give any variable name over here, equals to this client dot the connect method over here. Correct, and we will be passing the information, we are taking it over here as our input, right? So let us copy this guy. So we will copy this over here, so that we need to type less. Now the username, now here we will be using the named parameter. That means if you see it, like for each and every Python method, we can, these are the parameter names, right? So for username, we will be passing the username, we are getting it over here. Okay, so username equals to username. Similarly, I think the parameter name is password, which will be same as we are taking it over here. The parameter name is host, so host equals to host. Similarly, port equals to port over here. owner equals to owner. These are all our inputs over here, right? App equals to this app context, Control Z. App equals to this app context over here, and the sharing equals to sharing over here. Okay, so we have created a service object over here. So if this particular service is created successfully, we will get a service object ID over here, right? So we can write something like if service, that means if the service object exists, then we will just print like Splunk service created successfully. Okay, some information. Splunk service created successfully. Okay, so that's my print, and also we will print some dash so that whenever we will be printing from multiple methods, we will come to know which method is printing what. Okay, just for formatting purpose over here. So that's it. Now let us first try to see whether we can able to connect to our system or not, connect to our Splunk or not. Okay, so we will call this particular method over here, and while calling that, let's take this service name as Splunk underscore service equals to this, because we may need to pass this service to other methods when we'll be creating that save searches. Now initially, as all of the other inputs have their default value, so let us not give these values over here. Okay, so we'll be giving username equals to admin. As I am working with my admin user, you need to give corresponding your user only. Okay, and the password for admin over here. Okay, so for my own local host, this is the password over here. So if everything goes fine, we will be able to create the Splunk service. That means we will be able to connect to Splunk successfully. So let us try to run this one and see whether this guy is getting printed or not. Okay, and if you see, it is able to print this one. That means we are able to connect to Splunk successfully now. Now the next step, which is we will be creating a save search, or we will be creating an alert. Okay, anything, because the difference between a save search and an alert is alert has some actions over there, right? Even save search can have actions, but generally we do not create actions for save searches. So that's why I said like this save search and alert, it's almost same creation wise. We'll see that one as well. So we have to create that. Now how we create a save search? So basically, if you see this guy, this client.connect is basically creating a service object. So let us go through that one. Okay, so if you see, it returns an initialized service connection. So if I just click this guy over here, okay, so this is the class for service. Now if I go down, if you see, the service class actually holds lot of information about lot of objects over here, and one of it is the saved search. If I just go over here, saved underscore searches. Okay, so it returns the collection of the saved searches. So to create a new save search, what we need to do it over here is we basically add this save search, add a save search object to this collection. That's the way of creating a save search through Python in Splunk. Okay, so that's why first we will develop a method to know what are the different save searches exist for that particular user we are working with, and for the particular app context. Then we will try to see how we can add our save search to this collection over here. So let us create that method over here to list all the save searches. So we will do it over here. So def, let's give it a name, saved search underscore list over here. Okay, now what we saw it over here in the documentation, this saved underscore search method is available under a service object, correct? If I just go up, over here under a service object, which is returned by that connect method over here. That means we need to have an input called input of this Splunk service over here, right? We'll give it a name only, Splunk service only, which while calling that we'll pass this guy over here. Now colon. So we will first try to do the similar way with the similar skeleton over here, then the except block, so that anytime some error is occurring we can see it what's going on over here. Okay, so now how to list the saved searches. So we will take this Splunk service output to a new variable called saved searches, okay, equals to this Splunk service dot saved underscore search, right? So if I just go back to the documentation and quickly go over there, so this is the one we are referring to, correct? So saved underscore searches over here. So now this will hold the list of saved search we have, just to see whether we are basically pulling the saved searches or not. So we will loop through it, okay, because it's a collection over there for saved search in saved searches, okay. And what we will try to see, we will try to see the saved search name over here, okay. So print the ss dot name. So how I know it's a name? So if I just see the saved search, it returns a saved searches collection of the saved search entities. So if I just go to saved search entities, it is having a method called name over here, which basically returns the name of the saved search, okay. That is how I know. So we are just printing the saved search name over here, and once we are done printing over there, we will just print this guy for the formatting purpose outside of our loop over here, okay. So now this is a saved search list, so it needs to return the list of saved searches over here, okay. So what I'll do is, we will do another thing over here, is first we'll initialize this guy with none, so that if this method is failing, we are always returning something over here. At least we are returning none over here, okay. Now once everything is done, if we do not have any exception, we will return the saved searches over here. And in our main method, we will do it in similar way. Let's create a similar variable only over here, saved searches equals to this saved search list. We just developed it over here, right? And what we are passing it, we are passing the Splunk service. We get it from this connect to Splunk method. That means this connect method over here, okay. So if everything goes fine, we should be getting two things over here: successfully connected to the Splunk or successfully service created, then the list of saved search name under the user admin, and this app called search over here, okay. So let us run that. So we will kill the terminal and then try to run it. None type object has no attribute saved underscore searches. Okay, so as we were not returning this service object over here, so we have to do that. Return this guy service over here, and also we will do one thing over here. We will check this one. If this search is not none, then only we will try to do this stuff over here, okay. Maybe till this point, so that at least we are covered, like whether if this particular Splunk service exists, then only we will try to list down and loop through it over here, okay. So let us see, that's why the importance of handling the exception over here. We can easily get it what's going on over here. So let us kill this terminal and then rerun this file again. It returns the empty one. Okay, this needs to be Splunk service. Sorry about this. Ignores the saved searches. If the Splunk service exists, then only we will be doing this one. So let us try that, whether we are able to do it or not. Yeah, okay, if you see it over here, like it is basically listing out all the safe searches exist for that particular user over here. So if I just go back over here and select the search app over here and select owner all, we will be seeing all this safe searches list over here, okay, including these two guys. I have created a sample safe search and sample alert. We will see why I created this one. Okay, so we are able to create a list, or basically we are able to know the list of this particular safe searches for this particular user have access to. So now we need to add to this list to create a safe search, right? So let us try to create a safe search now. We will start with similar way, correct? So we will define a new method, let's say create underscore saved search. Okay, we will see what its parameters will be. We will say try, then we will handle the exception over here. Okay, now as I said, we need to add to this collection over here, right? So if I just see the documentation now, so let's go back. So this is our save searches class, right? So if I just go back, sometimes this documentation can be very confusing, so try to find that one. So if I just find saved searches, okay, so this is our save searches class over here. And if you see inside that save searches class, there is a method called create over here, okay, which basically creates a save search over here. Now where we got the save searches class, we got the save searches class over here, an object of the save searches class over here, right? When we basically list down this save searches over here, right? That means the return value of this particular method, that means nothing but our this guy over here. So there will be a input of this guy called save search collection, SAVED, save search collection, let's say. Okay, so if my save search collection exists, then only I will be adding over there, I'll be creating over there. Okay, so let's say I will create a variable called my search. So over there, what will be doing it? Save search dot collection dot, there is a create method, we saw it, right? CREATE, create method. Now the thing is, what this particular create method takes as an input. So if I just see it, the create methods take three inputs over here. One is the name of the save search, another is the actual the search string, another is the additional argument over here, like the cron schedule, the description, those stuff over there. Okay, so first try to create these inputs over here. So we will create an input called name. So basically we'll be taking this name, so that means we have to take the name to our method as well, right? What name we'll be providing to passing to this input, that will be passed to this guy as well over here, right? Now then we have to give a search query over here, that is also we have to take as an input. So we'll be passing the same guy over here as well. And then there is a payload, or we'll name it as a payload, because if you see, this is nothing but a Python dictionary over here. The type is the dictionary over here, right? So you can either take this data into a JSON file and read the JSON file and pass it over here, or anyway, I will try to do it in the similar, like I will try to do it in our program itself. So we will be defining a Python dictionary and then pass the dictionary over here. Okay, so we will be passing it, we will basically taking it, we'll name this particular input as payload over here. Okay, so PAYLOAD, the default value will be a empty dictionary, and this payload, whatever we'll be passing it over there, we'll be passing as something like this one. Okay, as you can see it over here. Okay, normal Python stuff. And so this is how we will be adding our saved searches, basically creating our saved searches and adding to that saved search collection over there. Now if we are able to successfully create that search, so what we'll do, if my search object exists, so we will print like something like, we will say my search object created successfully over here dot format, and here we will be giving it the name of that search. That means my search dot name. We have seen it before, this particular method over here, right? Dot name, and we will print this guy for formatting purpose. Okay, now if you see, it now totally depends on how you will be passing this name, this search and payload to this guy over here. So we will be doing it from our main method over here. Okay, so we will be calling this create save search. So let us try to create a save search, a simple save search first, then we will try to see the other stuff. Now the save search collection will be this guy over here, correct, the returned value, and let's give it a name. So let's create a variable called name over here. Let's say new save search, new saved search over here, and this name will be passing it over here. And let's create a variable called search over here with some dummy searches. So let's say I'll be giving a search something like index equals to underscore internal, and let's say stats count by source type, over here. And initially we will not send anything to this payload, so that it will be a blank payload. With that one we will be creating the save search over here. Okay, so if the save search created successfully, then it will be giving the name of the save search, and it will say the save search created successfully over there. Okay, now after that, after the save search created, we will try to run this program again, save search list, just to check whether our save search has been added to that particular list or not over there. Okay, that's why I'm calling this method over here. So let us try to test this guy now. So we will run it now. So service created successfully. These are the existing set of save searches over here. Now the new save search, whatever name we have given it over here, created successfully. And if you see it over here, the new save search is also getting listed under this list over here. Okay, so if we just now go to Splunk and go to settings, searches, reports and alerts, and go to our search app, we will be able to see the new save search over here, if you see it, right? And if you see, the owner is admin, which we have given it. The app is search over here. That's why we are coming under the we are basically selecting the search app over here. And the sharing is private, as we already predicted over here, because if you see it over here, the sharing is currently user over here. So if you make it app, it will be the app level over there. Okay, so this is fine, but see it over here, the save search is not scheduled. And if I just click over here, there is no description, there is no earliest time, there is no latest time over there, right? Even if I just go to schedule, edit schedule, there is no schedule as well. So how can we see, how can we change these things over here when we create the save search over there? Okay, and the similar question we can answer when we try to update the save search over there as well. It is a similar approach. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to basically play around that particular payload, nothing else. So now the question arises, how we will know what are the things we need to pass over there. Okay, now there are two ways to know that. So first of all, I will delete this save search because this does not make any sense with this save search because it does not have any schedule and all. So for that, if you see, like, I have created a sample save search and a sample test alert over there. Okay, and if you see the save search, it has a description, it has earliest and latest time, and it has some schedule as well. Currently I have disabled the schedules, that's why. Otherwise it will have, let's say, this cron schedule. Let's see, if I just do it, it's a full-fledged save search over here, right? Even the sharing is app as well. So that we can do when we connect to Splunk, that connect object over there. But this is this is a full-fledged save search which because the next schedule time is coming up over here. Now the best way to know what would be the payload structure is just to see the save searches.conf of this guy. Okay, so let me open, I think I already opened it over here. If I just see the save searches.conf, so this is our sample save search over here, right? So we have a search. This is the name of the search basically. We have a description, we have a dispatch earliest time, latest time, whether the schedule is enabled or not. Okay, this stuff, and this is the cron schedule. So either you can directly set like this one. Now the problem with this one is there are some certain key values. Basically this is the keys, right? There's like enable schedule, the cron schedule. So you cannot directly pass this exactly this name over there to the payload. Okay, so what you need to do is, that's why you need to see the documentation. Now for that you need to basically see the documentation for the saved underscore searches endpoint, which basically used to create a save search. Okay, and how we will create a save search, we will basically doing a post operation over there. So if I expand it, so these are all different request parameters over here. So basically this name has to match exactly with that one. Okay, so we will see to create our save searches, which we saw in the save searches.conf, what are the different parameters, what are the corresponding parameters over here. So let us go back to our code and try to create a payload over here. Okay, so we'll give it a variable name called payload underscore save search, because for alert we'll be having a separate payload. So this is a Python dictionary that we have to remember over here, and the same payload ss we will be passing to this create underscore save search method as well. Okay, so that it can pass this payload to this guy over here into this create method over here. Okay, so payload, let us try to create a dictionary now. So we will be creating a multi-line stuff over here. Okay, just to create a multi-line string over here, nothing fancy. Okay, so as I said, what we will be passing it over here. So let's do that one. So the first thing is we need to have a cron schedule as we have seen it over here, right? Now if I just go back to this documentation, there should be something called cron schedule over here. Okay, so that corresponding one we need to use it over here. So if I just go to C, so there is input called cron schedule, which is the same name. So we can just copy this guy and create a cron schedule input. Remember, you need to create within the double quotes over here. Okay, the cron schedule will be something like, let's say, */2 *** and **. So every 2 minutes this will be running it over here. Okay, now the second thing we need to do it over here is create a description. So as we are seeing it over here, so the description input is something like description only over here. So we can just copy this one. So remember, I am not copying it from the savesearches.conf. I am copying it from this documentation over here, which is nothing but the post arguments over here. Okay, so let's go back over here. So we will say description is, let's give it a small description. This is a saved search. Okay, now the third thing we will be giving it over here is this one, enable schedule. Okay, whether this will basically determine whether the saved search is scheduled or not. So there is an input parameter called is_schedule. So I actually went through all of this one. That's why I know it beforehand. But when you want to work with other parameters over here, you need to basically read this one over here. So if you see is_schedule, whether the search is to be run on schedule or not. Okay. So this enable schedule in the savesearches.conf is actually pointing to this particular parameter over here. Okay, so that's why we will be giving this guy over here. So is schedule equals to, it needs to be 1 over here, because we want to run the save search in a schedule. Now if you see it over here, there is a thing called enabled or disabled. Okay, so when you disable this particular save search, so it will be something like disabled equals to 1, otherwise it basically deletes this one, which is nothing but the default value of the disabled is 0 over here. So in the documentation also they have a input called disabled over here, and if you see, is defaults to 0 over here. Okay, so you can create that particular input as well over here. So I'll say disabled, I will just say comma disabled. So I do not want to disable it, so that's why I'm giving a 0 over here. So the next thing is my earliest time and latest time over here, right? The dispatch earliest time and dispatch latest time over here. We covered almost other stuff over here. So let us see whether we have the same stuff or not. Yes, we have the dispatch latest time, and we also have the dispatch earliest time. So let us copy this one over here. So we will go back to our code. We will say dispatch earliest time equals to, so let's say what we have given it over here is this is nothing but this, what time range the search will be, this particular search will be running it over here, right? So we'll give it a 1 day. Okay, and our dispatch latest time will be, if I see it over here, okay, let's give it called now over here. Okay, so this will our key value pairs, but this needs to be a Python dictionary, right? So that means it needs to be within this one. Okay, so if you just pass this payload to our create method now, so now our save search will be scheduled properly over here. Okay, if we did correctly. So let us clear this one and let us try to run this one now. So our save search service created successfully. These are all the existing searches. Okay, so it is saying it must be a mapping, that means dictionary, not a string over here. Okay, so that means we need to, it's basically a dictionary, we need to convert it to a JSON object. So import, it's basically a string basically, so that's why we need to convert it as a Python dictionary. So import JSON, we can do that using json.loads to convert a string into a Python dictionary, right? So if I just give this payload while calling this one as json.loads, this guy, so it will convert this particular string, right? So this is nothing but a string over here to a JSON object, then we will just pass it over there. So let us see whether it is working correctly or not. So service created, listing the existing searches. So now the new save search object created successfully, and it is also added to the list over here. Now let us try to see it in our Splunk whether it is created or not. So if I just refresh it over here, if you see the new save search object has been created. Now this time it is similar to whatever we have seen it over here, right? Only thing is that the sharing is private because the Splunk service we have created in that way only, correct? So now it is scheduling properly, and if you see it has a description as well. The description we have given it in our code, the earliest time, the latest time, and And if you see enable schedule, if you guys go to schedule, the schedule is already enabled over here. With the cron schedule, we have given it over here, correct? And if you see for the save searches, there is an option of writing it to the summary index and other stuff, acceleration. So all those things, all those parameters, you'll be getting it over here only. Okay, so if you search it over here, if you see the summarize, for summary related, all this stuff, there is an input for that one. So try to explore this one and try to see whether everything, whatever you can do it from the UI, can you do it from this SDK or not. Okay, I think it is possible. Just try it from your end as well. Okay, so what we saw it over here is we actually saw how to connect to Splunk, how to list the save searches for a particular user, and how to create a new save search over here. And while doing that, how to create these payloads over here. And if you see this payload I have created on the fly, right? You can save this information in a file and read that file and convert it to a JSON using this one, correct? So I think we will stop it over here because otherwise the video will be lengthy. In the second part, we will talk about how to update the save search and how to delete the save search over here. Okay, see you in next video.